This podcast is sponsored by CDO Group, the industry leader providing a full range of construction and project management services. CDO Group has managed thousands of projects in all 50 states. Their group of experts provides systems, processes, and procedures to make sure that your projects turn over on time and on budget every single time. With over 24 years of experience, CDO Group is the industry's leader in construction management and general contracting services. To find them, go to cdogroup.com. Hi, and welcome to the Future of Development podcast. My name's Anthony Amunategui, and I'm here to inspire people to find amazing careers in the construction development world. If you like our podcast, please make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. If you really like our podcast, make sure you hit the little bell. Hi, and welcome to the Future Development Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Amunategui, and today I am joined by William St-Pierre, another amazing inventor. The product he's created is called the framr. It does layout in minutes as compared to what used to take days or maybe even a week. And your numbers, your measurements become the measurements on the job site, and quite inventive, quite creative. With that, let's welcome William to the show. William, welcome to the show. I'm excited about having you on. You know, we looked at the product in pre-show, and I've been looking at it all morning long, checking it out. I'm excited to really get into it, so welcome.
Thank you, Anthony. I'm excited to be in the show as well.
You know, every time we see something new that's literally revolutionary in the business, it just really gets me excited because I know that our business has been so archaic forever. And inventors like you are coming up with the newest and latest and greatest technologies. And let's really get into the product, the framr, and talk about how it works and what it does and the solution. Why don't you give me a little background on how you created the product?
Yeah, that's a good story. I could actually talk about that for hours, but I've tried to be as concise as I can. So we founded the company about 3 years ago. I was getting out of the university. I'm still young. I was getting out of the university, and then I worked for general contractors here in Montreal, Canada. And then quickly, this is where I've seen the major gap from what we use in school and all the technology that is available and the construction industry. So I said, I need to do something in my life about this industry, and this is an industry I love. So definitely that I've made myself a mission to change that. So originally, I had an idea that we were prefabricating wall panels for the wall industry with 3D printers. It was amazing, the latest technologies. So I needed to have technical co-founders to help me out. Then this is where I've called Charles and Jonathan. Charles, pretty strong background in mechatronical engineering, and Jonathan, robotics and electrical engineering. So we started to build something. And quickly, 6 months in, we wanted to talk to customers, and we went to a job site to talk with a wall and ceiling contractor. And this is where we realized that our idea was bad. So bad.
Your first product was wall panels, right? Is that
yeah?
So 3D. They're 3D wall panels, right? So you guys said, well, I got a solution. We're going to get rid of all this drywall mess and all this stuff, and we're going to do these 3D wall panels. And that your solution was talk to me about that.
Yeah, so we were presenting our idea and product to a foreman on the job site, and the foreman was not talking much. So this is why I realized that there was something, and I asked him, what's your biggest problem on the job site? And said to me, William, I didn't want to offend you, but that's not my problem. What I need to know where the walls will be positioned, because if I am installing the walls faster, but they're still not at the right location, I need to do rework all over again. And this is the core of my problem. So it's like, interesting. And we were looking to each other. It's like, that's pretty interesting. So we went back by that time we were part of an university incubator. We went back there and then done a brainstorm over a beer. And then this is where Charles had the idea of a laser projection device that displays construction plans in real scale. I was like, wow, that sounds like a sci-fi movie, but that seems interesting. First, can we build it? And Charles said to me, yes. So I was like, all right. So that's the first step. Now, if we're to do a pivot of the company, we won't do the same mistake twice. So which means we will sell the product before having it. So the first thing I've done, I opened the yellow pages. I wanted to get in contact with contractors I did not know and try to do cold calls. I've done 10 calls. Out of those 10 calls, I've been able to have 5% on the phone. It's always a tricky, but you need to...
You're calling my coin. Look, I have not invented anything yet, but if I do invent this, will you buy it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's a tough one. It's really going out there, right? And it's genius the way to do that, because you really are putting yourself out there. And that's awesome.
Yeah. So out of 10 people, I've been able to reach out to 5, getting passed through the receptionist. This is the most complicated portion. And then, and then with those 5 person, I had meetings. And after the first or second meeting, I had agreement with deposit signed. So I was like, oh, okay, I think we've got something. So now I looked back to my team and said, let's build a product now. And this is how really Mechasys got created by a major pivot. And we went over prototype to products to what we have now, laser projection device for the job sites. So this is really how we started the business.
That's different, right? A lot of people go the opposite. They go in this major hole, right? And they're so upside down before they even get to the product development, and they never get to a customer, right? They never even get to show it. There's never a proof of concept. They can't ever get to a point where they do that. You're going out there saying, hey, Mr. Customer, look, we've got this idea, and this is what we want to do, and we want your input on it. And by the way, if we build that, you're a customer. Is that you'd be a customer, right? And you're saying that's genius, right? I mean, being able to first of all, that shortens your whole development timeline, right? Because now you can focus on, look, I've got some customers that will help support this, and they're people that will of size. So go back. How hard was it to get past the secretary?
You need to find really good tricks. So first of all, you have this. I had an entire script, and sometimes it's kind of not working. At one point, I was trying to speak with the owner of a company, but the owner was actually dead since 2 years. I did not know that. So
right. You get some bad intel. Okay, got it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, there's few tricks here and there. If you see that the receptionist is kind of open, then it's quite easy. If it's not, she's not open or he's not open, then you need to get the tricks here. And this is why I haven't been able to speak with everybody as well. That's why.
And I think that one of the things I did early on was I worked as a stockbroker. I worked in a small penny stock company at the time. I was, 19 years old or 18, 19 years old, and I cold called all day long. And the guy that I worked for, which would train me, to make these calls and how to get by the personal assistant and how to get into the decision maker's office. And once I get in there, you get this very limited amount of time to say, hey, look, I'd like to get to a more engaging conversation. But, their whole thing is trying to get you off the phone and, doing what you're doing is put yourself out there. If nothing else, you're on the dance floor, right? Just in, getting out there and trying to make the calls. I think a lot of inventors, for me over the years, being able to speak to what you want to create kind of starts to solidify the idea, the product, what you're going to do, right? And in that, it starts getting created. Like literally, that's the first prototype. It's just speaking about it, right?
Yeah. And it's really important because you need to fall in love with the problem and not the product, because the product can change along the way. But if you truly love the problem and the industry, then you'll find your way to get there. That's fundamental. But if it's the opposite, then you'll try to do pivots in industries, and it's going to be really complicated to navigate through all the hurdles of being an entrepreneur. So yeah, you need to love the industry. You need to love the problem. That's fundamental.
I love that. You got to fall in love with the problem, not the product, right? Because that's genius. Here, Eric, there's the piece I want to pop out, because I think that's something that everybody's got to hear. Right? You got to fall in love with that, and then the process kind of happens, right? The stuff that and there's ebbs and tides of learning and knowledge. So back up a little bit. So now you get out of college and you now start making these phone calls, and you're getting a couple people interest, and you start having the conversations, and now you start going over the drawing board. Where'd you guys start?
So we started with early prototypes. We wanted to validate. So we had a list of all the technology risk, right? Is it possible? Is this, and this possible as well? So we've listed them out, and we've built prototype in order to assess those specific risks. So at the beginning, the prototype were really ugly, but they worked to solve a specific technical challenge. And then the third prototype, I believe, we started to combine all of those prototypes into one. And this is where we had a product that was doing projection, moving on the sides and up and down as well. But then comes in the question of accuracy, and then you need to work on the accuracy, and then you discover a lot of things. And this is where you're building your path. And the most important in the development of a technology is to try to know what you don't know. that's the most important and the most complicated because you don't know that you know it, that you don't know it. So yeah.
I kind of find there's three things. There's I know, and there's stuff I don't know. It's the third one, the stuff I don't know, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the realm where all of a sudden you're like, I didn't even know that stuff. You kind of figured, well, like I don't know brain surgery, but it's the other stuff you can't even imagine that's in there yet. And I think some of that starts to happen as you develop as an entrepreneur and you go start walking. Now, sometimes that's the best thing you can have is you don't know, and some of that's what creates the new opportunity, right? In the not knowing, there's kind of this opening that says, I can do anything, right? Because when you know stuff, it becomes like gravity. And it's like, yeah, that could hurt. And then, you're like, I don't want to do that. But not knowing something that you don't know, you kind of keep going forward, kind of like, a little bit of innocence that goes with that is kind of a neat opportunity. So now you notice that you want to handle layout, right? And layout's a problem. That's the problem. And you're trying to come up with a solution for it. As you went through different iterations of that development, talk about what kind of products you were doing and how did you go through those iterations?
Yeah. So again, the early prototypes were really to validate technology risk. And then we started to combine the first ones into making a projection device that was working. We've made the first generation, and the first generation of product, we did not know that an uneven surface, such as a floor, a construction job site, which is not perfect, would have major impact on the accuracy. So this, where we needed to incorporate a 3D scanner inside of the product. So for the second generation, we started to integrate a 3D scanner inside of the product so that we can compensate for job site irregularities. This is fundamental in order to get a product that is accurate 100% of the time on every types of projects worldwide. And so this is what we needed. So we've implemented that. And then we've been able to discover that this information that we were gathering was useful to the same contractors or other contractors. So this is a good example of things that we did not know. And then we've been able to find an opportunity with that. So right now we have the second generation of unit that is performing well on the job site, that is accurate, and that we're deploying. So it's all a question of process and how do you get there. And also you need to manage your team. By the moment you do that, and you need to have a really strict product management and planning. And this is something that is fundamental, similar to project management, but for your product. So you have your product roadmap, you have your products, you have your features, and then you have your sprints, because we work in a agile technique. So you need to manage all of this, that you make sure that you can get to the goal as fast as you can. And to do this, you need to be really organized.
Well, give me that. So when you're saying, hey, look, I have to manage the product development. So, my guess is that people are coming at you 100 different ways, right? Here's ideas. I mean, by the way, I do that. Keep myself focused and have the ability to get something done, right? With creativity, you're like, well, what about this? What about that? What about that? Somewhere you got to pick a line and you got to follow that path to get to it. Now, there may be some other learnings that come along the way, but staying on path to get to the product, right? As you develop it, it can be mind blowing.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of customers tells us, hey, I would like to have multicolor projection. I would like to have projection on the ceiling. I would like to have larger radius of projection. So what we need to do internally is we need to first list them all and then afterwards prioritize them so that I don't give everything to my team because they'll do a product that doesn't work at the end. You need to make sure that you prioritize them and then you deliver the minimum that you need in order to get to the paying customers, and then and then you can expand within other trades and so on and so forth. But you need to prioritize everything. Otherwise, that would take multiple years in order to build a product like ours.
I kind of like the Tesla model, right? They promise, hey, one day we're going to get to self-driving, but still, I've got a Tesla, and even though it can get me on the highway, and I can pull the lever, and I can go down the highway pretty easily, and it can change some lanes. Great. But it still doesn't self-drive from my driveway to the next driveway, right? But it's slowly getting smarter, right? I can see the car now. It reads arrows. Now it sees stop signs. Now it can read red lights. Now it can read green lights. And I can just notice that every small increment of growth, it's great. And what's kind of fun for it is I see the vision, and I'm kind of up for the ride, right? Because I enjoy the process. I enjoy watching them go through it and being part of their development. I think that's what happens with these early adopters is now you've got partners in the development of it, right? They're now your champions, right? They're the people who the product is great, and when we're going to put a demo of this product on the website, you'll have a link down below. So all of you guys that want to really see it, it's a phenomenal way to, you're laying out every wall, every detail. It's essentially your layout becomes the layout, right? Becomes the layout. I mean, everybody on site, no matter what trade's doing it, now you've got the layout that everybody's using, right? Because now you can integrate every wall, every plumbing stack, every ventilation location. Your plans, your layout becomes the job site layout, and it benefits everybody on it.
Yeah, exactly. We can do multi-trade layouts or single trade layouts. It really depends, and you can have as much in details as you want. It really becomes on what is the office preparing in order to help the people on the job site to perform the work, right? So you can have a highly detailed layout if you want. You can have a really simplified layout if they want. It really depends on the nature of the company and also the nature of the project. But for sure, we have recommendation in order to optimize productivity on site to help our customers. And if they want to do multi-trade layout, most of the time we need to have the approval from the general contractor, because it becomes more complicated on how to manage this inside of a project. But this is definitely the biggest advantage that we can provide to a contractor at the same time.
So let's just kind of back up and really get how the product happens. So before you're out in the field, before you get to the field, there's some setup work you have to do. Now you're taking a set of 2D drawings, or maybe you're in a BIM model. Where are you pulling information from? What's your preference? A BIM model, 2D drawings, a PDF? What's the data that you want to put into the model to create it?
Yeah, so we can work with BIM-enabled contractors or contractors that are not working with BIM, but we need digital files, which is AutoCAD most of the time. Okay, so this is the base reference that every contractor will take. In our product, we have three main components, right? The first one is a cloud-based application. So contractors can drag and drop their plans if they have AutoCAD. But if they have Revit, they can connect the database directly to their BIM model so that it can extract all the information that is required in order to optimize time on the pre-construction phase. Once this is on the cloud application, then the workers can get in the field. The workers will have two components inside of the product. They will have the laser projector and a mobile application. The mobile application acts as a middleman. So we can fetch the information from the cloud and then push it to the framr. And then the framr, which is the projector itself, will display the information that needs to be laid out in the job site. It's important to mention that our product is a way of communicating from the office to the job site. So if we input if it's garbage in, it's also going to be garbage out. That's for sure. So this is why I'm making sure that your AutoCAD drawings or BIM model are synchronized with the other trades or correct. Then this becomes important. Nevertheless, there is still an option that contractors can move around the projection in the field. They can do on-the-fly modification, and that's fundamental because sometimes you have a wall layout that doesn't fit with the plumbing pipe, and then your plumbing pipe is already there, poured in the concrete. You cannot move it. So what happened most of the time is that the wall layout will move. So on the tablet and mobile application, you can select your wall and move it, and that will save the information back to the cloud-based application and generate the as-built drawings. So it's a back and forth communication from the office to the field, and what we're building is a way of communicating at the end.
You pull from the model, right? You pull from the 2D Revit drawings or the 3D BIM model. You now have this model. You upload it onto the cloud. Now you pull from the cloud down to the framr, and now you've got that. And you're projecting. Let's talk about you two guys. How many people does it take to operate this?
Only one, actually.
one person shows up, they got it on their shoulder, right? They show up on the job site, hey, and she takes it out and she goes, all right, look, I'm going to set this up right here, right? And she sets up, how does she get the location of where the framr is and the information is so I can get the right accuracy?
Yeah. So what we need in order to position the machine is 2 control lines. Once we have 2 control lines, this is the standard on every project. You have control lines or grid lines. We need to have a minimum of 2. And what the machine will do is that we'll take 2 measurement on one grid line and the 3rd measurement on another grid line, and then we can start to project. There's other parameters that the machine calculate by itself, such as its height and the floor elevation or ceiling elevation, but that the user doesn't really need to know. And how much time does it get on board? It's funny because right now we're starting to onboard customers to operate the machine by themselves. And this week, actually, we were on a massive project here in Montreal, and we were supposed to train a layout carpenter. But the layout carpenter got the COVID, so he was not there. So I was like, damn. So the foreman sent me a person that never done layout in his life.
Never.
Okay, never. He got 5 years experience on the trade, but never done layout. After 3 hours, he was performing the layout on a really complex job, and it was perfect. So I was like, damn, this is nice because my product allows contractors or operators that never done layout to learn this like that. And for him, it was like kind of a video game. So it was really easy to operate. So yeah, that made me really, really happy for sure.
All right, so now they come in to get some training. Give me the idea. What's the training they go through? So they understand how to get the software, what information goes into the cloud, right? How to pull the file and how to upload the file to a place where they can now pull from the file.
Yeah, so there's 2 main trainings that we offer. The first one depends on the technology readiness of the company, right? Do they manage the CAD files? Do they not manage CAD files? Are they BIM enabled? So that will vary, but we will guide them in order to push their plans into the platform. Make sure that the plan is correct as well. So either we offer trainings on AutoCAD or BIM, or we can also, on some specific projects, we have customers here in Quebec that don't manage any CAD files, so we can help them in doing so.
But hold on, but you got to make sure you're Eric, our producer. Eric, where you at? Eric wants to learn how to do this. We're going to take Eric and we're going to send him out to your class. Now you walk Eric through the class, and you're going to teach him how to do this. What's his first day look like?
So the training is 1 day. Okay. So it depends on what Eric knows at the moment. Does he knows the basic of AutoCAD? Does he doesn't know the basic of AutoCAD? Usually, most contractors that we do this training for knows AutoCAD at least, and then can perform basic Revit models. So on the AutoCAD, it's mostly about how do you make sure you can compensate for your wall types depending on the trade, and then you can extract information. You'll need to clean a little bit. Like you don't need to project the chairs and the tables on the architectural plan, right? You don't necessarily need that. So you're just removing the information that you don't need, and then you import that to the cloud. So it depends on the project. It can be 30 minutes. It can be 2 hours. Really depends on the complexity of the project, but usually it's quite quick.
Oh, good. Now, it's either Eric understands how to pull that out, or we have an architect that we train to say, hey, look, I don't need these layers. I need this. These are layers I need. I need the wall. I need the wall layout. I need these datum point setups. I need plumbing chases or penetration drawings, whatever that might be. That layers we want to have on there. We extract. We capture that file. Now we take the file and we stick it where?
To the cloud-based application. So it's a drag and drop. You can manage your project, and then in the project you have floors. You can have we have components, and in the demonstration on our website we have the detailed information. But you have 3 main components. So it's really flexible for if you have a really small project, like you're building a McDonald's, for example, in your case, or you're building like a multi-billion-dollar hospital project. And so it will be the same. So you just need to drag and drop your file into the application, and that's it.
Well, I got to tell you what, as you guys get this product, watching it on site, watching go through it. By the way, I'd love to come out and see one of your projects get laid out. I'd love to see the product in action. So as you continue to develop, look, seeing it on video is one thing, but I really, really am excited about. First of all, I want to see Eric do this, right? I want to see Eric. I want to make him go out there, and he's going to take that file. Now he gets it uploaded, and let's just go through the next step real quick. So So I get to the field with Eric, and he sets up the transom, or he sets up the tripod, and he gets his datum points. And do we scan? Are we scanning the environment first?
No. So the most complicated part, okay, in the job site is the portion that we're not even using the product yet. So it's getting your control lines set up on the job site.
Okay.
So you need to lay down your control lines, and this is really the most complicated part. Once this is done, then you can set up the machine on the tripod, and then you level it, and then you make sure that you take your plans from the mobile application. So you select your plan, and then you will retranscribe the same control lines. So usually there's offsets that are created. People will offset their grid lines into a control line. And then once we have this, we can start positioning the machine, which we call internally local positioning system. Okay. So you have 3 points on one line, 1 point on the other one. So now the machine knows its X and Y coordinates. The machine takes by itself the Z elevation. And then just before projecting, we scan the area that we need. So this is compensating for all the floor elevations. And then we display the information and start to work. And then you just repeat.
All right, now the projection, give me what it's projecting. Is it just the floor layout, or am I getting wall layout? Am I getting ceiling layout? What are my options on projection?
Everywhere there's a surface, really. So walls, ceilings, floors, we can do everything.
So 365, all the way around, up and down. So I can match my light. I can locate my light locations, my ceiling track. I can project all of my interactions between ceiling. I mean, that's really time consuming. I mean, right now it may take somebody. I mean, look, I've done that work, and I can't tell you how many times a day we lay something out, and then it takes the next 2 or 3 days of I get pinged. Hey, can you come back over here and measure this point? Hey, can you come back over here? Can we check this point? There's constantly this kind of we put points on the ground, or maybe a couple of chalk lines, and then we miss some of the other stuff that we really need for locating of lights, or locating of a glass wall, or an offset for a product. We might get the outside of something, we might not get the center line of something.
Yeah, you're right. The thing about layout, it's not really an expensive part of the project. Usually it represents between 0.5 to 1.5% of the entire bit. Okay, most of the time, depends on the project. But if there's a mistake at that step, that's massive. That way you fuck up the entire project, right?
Absolutely. The echo effect of a bad layout is seen on the cost, the expense, and just the frustration of the team, right? I mean, everybody's pointing fingers. Hey, the architect, hey, the carpenter should have known this, or hey, the plumber wasn't paying attention. Oftentimes they're on different pages looking at different datum points. And, I measured from this wall over here. This says, 2 feet from over here. Oh, but you didn't take in consideration finished wall, right? Yeah. So you forgot to put tile on there, or you forgot to put, whatever wall panel, engineered wall panels that we've got out there. So, it does, William, it can be complicated for the novice.
Yes, it is. Especially when you don't have a technology tool, to be honest. When you need to have your architectural drawings, and you need to think about the wall types and all the dimensions, what we see is most of the time what people are doing is that they take a piece of cardboard, and then they literally draw the wall type with the right dimension. And this is where they know the center line of their wall is, and so that becomes quickly really complicated. With us, it's simple, because all the work is done on the pre-construction phase. If it's done the BIM model, there's not even an additional work that needs to be done. So you display that, you have iron line, for example, then you just display your steel. That's it. So yeah, it quickly simplifies the entire process.
That's awesome. As you guys continue to develop this, and you've now done all the lines, you put everything in. Now the project's done. What are you doing post-project with red lines and accuracy? How are you translating that information that you've gathered during the changes of the layouts, or how's that getting translated back to the architect?
Before getting to the architect, it will get to the subcontractor, which is our customer, and then possibly to the general contractor if needs be. But yeah, we gather a bunch of data points, right? We have 3D point cloud, not at the same resolution as 3D scanners performed by Leica or Trimble, but still we got pretty decent amount of data that we gathered there. We also have pictures, we have movements of the machine that leads to productivity rates. We have all the modifications of the layout that results in as-builts, so that we can provide this information to the subcontractor, which is our customer, as a quality control report. So we can guarantee that his job has been performed well, and that can increase the payment process if need be. That really depends on specific project. But yeah, so we can offer a way for the subcontractors to guarantee that his job has been performed well to the general contractor. All the MEP contractors are already required to perform that. So this is why people are purchasing 3D scanners a lot, especially in the MEP space. The wall and ceiling industry, it is starting. It is starting. They need to provide as-built drawings. So yeah, we see a lot of traction there too.
Well, and let me ask you this: where are you guys at with the thought of being able to have this thing be mobile? Right, taking this product and being able to have it move around the job site without having to go back through setup. Once you get one datum point, being able to do the entire job site from one datum point. How's that idea starting to grow?
Yeah, it is on the product roadmap. That is for sure. We see a lot of value in putting a product to a robot like the Spot, for example.
Yeah.
And I know
I know. That spot. You know me. I love that spot. I need a Spot pet. I'm trying. Eric's gonna laugh. He's gonna come to the office here one day. I'm gonna have Spot the pet dog over here.
You can. It's only $78,000.
Yeah,
so
listen, it's that's not that bad for a pet. I've complained about the $3,000 dog my wife wanted to buy, which keeps peeing in my house. I love the dog, but it keeps peeing in my house. I'm like, stop. Honey, it's trained. I'm like, no. So what Spot's gonna come with its own problems at $80,000. So, it's fun to look at that, and you can see a future where, all of a sudden it gets projected as Spot's eyes, right? Like kind of laser pointers, Spot's eyes are now doing the layout for you. That would be kind of funny to see. So, William, I love having you on. I love as you guys continue to get more and more, integrating this as you continue to break through more barriers. I want you and your creativity to come out here and shine. We definitely want to talk more about what you got going on, all the progress you got going on. And by the way, I'm grateful for you and all the developers in our industry that are breaking all these new places. So I'm grateful to have you on, and we look forward to really highlighting that. Make sure that hey, audience, if you liked this episode with William, or like all of our episodes, if you'd make sure that you guys would hit the like button. And if you really liked it, hit the subscribe button. It helps us and get great guys like William on here. And it just takes a second to do, and it helps us get more amazing guests like William to come on the show. So, William, I am so grateful for your time. And if people want to find you and get and buy the product or rent the product, where do they do that at?
Yeah, so they can get directly on our website, mechasys.ca. So mechasys.ca, or directly contact me on my email address, william@mechasys.ca. So again, mechasys.ca. I answer all of my emails, so there's no problem with that.
Well, we'll make sure we put links to both of those down below. Audience, look, really go check this out. It helps William grow the product and give you feedback on it. If there's anything on the show that you want to see and some stuff you have on it, please let us know. Hey, look, that's what this whole show's about. It's our industry really showing off the people and the places and the things that we're doing to really make this, a better place to work. And it's a lot of fun. William, thanks a lot for your time. I'm grateful to have you on the show.
Thanks, Anthony.
Thanks for joining us. My name is Anthony Amunategui, always looking for people to bring insight into the industry, finding ways to inspire people to have amazing careers in the development world. If you liked our podcast, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. If you really liked our podcast, make sure you hit the little bell. Thanks again for listening. Please share it with your friends.